moon is so cold and grows every night. You walk alone. The longest still is the weight of parents who may never know. Don't you walk alone, don't you stray from home. God only knows just who is waiting. Don't you raise your voice, don't make any noise. What a scary choice to be employed. We're afraid of everyone, we'll know whatever come and save us, save us. Well, when they say they could, I don't know how they could enslave us, erase us. I'll just wait here, someone should be by soon. I'm sure.
Welcome to the Clashuals Ep.5 Season 2. We are here live on Twitch. For those of you who don't know, we live stream it. And we're ready to rock and roll tonight. I know it took a little while, Big B had some shit
I'm
to
a
do.
very,
He's got a
very
real
busy
job. I don't.
person. I am super
So-
important, I've
was
got
doing
many leather-bound books. My library smells of rich mahogany. I'm friends with Merlin Olsen. It's stupid.
For those that don't know, I did like a pre-show. Everyone was like, "When's the podcast going to start?" I was like, "I'm waiting
He
on
was
Big
just
B."
buttering you guys
He's-
up.
You know,
He's just
I was
buttering
getting
your
y'all ready.
biscuit.
Facts, and I am pretty into the drinks right now. I've 7 drinks in. This is my 7th drink I'm drinking right now. So it's
All
gonna be
right,
a
now
lit
you're
night.
counting them. No, that's good. That's good.
I try. I have my little notepad, so I'm like, I keep tallies. when
Yeah,
I'm
I didn't
drinking,
even
and,
think about it because I was doing stuff right up until the pod. I've got my bottle of Screwball here on the desk with me. I just don't have anything to pour it in or mix it with. I didn't.
Dude, I bought a few whiskeys tonight. So I bought a new screwball. I still had some Tennessee whiskey peanut butter that was kind of. It's strong. It has that strong caramel taste. It's not really peanut butter, but it's still good. I have the screwball next to me that I'm drinking now. You can kind of see it in the webcam, and then I have uh American teacup whiskey that comes with a little
Ooh.
shot glass. So yeah, I'm gonna try
Is
that
that
later
a
tonight too. So
stainless steel shot glass? Is that nice?
little stainless. I don't. Yeah, it just
So you
comes
got
on
to pour it
top.
cold in those.
I like. Well, I have warm whiskey, so I drink my
You
whiskey
know,
warm.
interestingly enough, when I was in Tennessee a couple weeks ago, we went to a liquor store there, and I was thinking because
Ooh.
I had shown some of the people that we were traveling with the peanut butter whiskey. In fact, I had mixed it. I've been trying to find this Mountain Dew Pitch Black, which I've since figured out is discontinued. So you can't find it anywhere unless you want to pay like $13 a bottle to import it from like Japan. In which, I mean, I'm not that hardcore for what's a drink is going to taste like peanut butter and jelly. But before we
Actually, sorry, I didn't want to cut you off. You can find it in Arizona at
Are you
Circle
kidding
K.
me?
They have Pitch Black there in the little soda thing, whatever.
Oh,
fuck
and the
you wanna call
fountain.
it. Yeah, the
Dude,
fountain. Yeah,
I didn't even think about that.
I'm pretty sure. Don't quote me on that, but
I
I'm pretty sure
quoted you
last time I went to
already.
Circle
It's
K, they had
recorded
it.
too. Like there's receipts.
Yeah, it's recorded. It's
That's
gonna be in the
definitely coming
pod,
back.
so everyone's gonna be like, "You're a liar, Adams." Like, I'm pretty sure I saw Pitch Black there. At least they had the
Yeah.
cup.
Well, I looked it up online
So
and it said discontinued. And then I guess because, smartphones, the algorithm, it learns what you're looking for. So searching for Mountain Dew Pitch Black, all of a sudden, like on my Facebook and my Instagram, I was getting advertisements for these guys that do the novelty shops for like snacks and drinks and stuff from other places. Like you can get all these crazy flavored Oreos and Kit Kats and things that just aren't sold in the US. And I was looking on that like, okay, well, they got all these other funky flavors. Someone's got to have Pitch Black, and there you can get a glass bottle of Mountain Dew Pitch Black. But everyone I found on it says coming from Japan, $12.99 a bottle, and it's a bottle for like 12 ounces. I'm like, I'm not that hardcore into it. Plus, what we do have in the United States, thanks to Mountain Dew, is another slice of heaven called Twisted Apple. Have you tried that flavor of Mountain Dew, Adams?
I don't think I've
It's
ever
it's
heard of
it's
it.
it's like an apple flavored soda. It's it's
Okay.
got all the carbonation and everything, so it's got bubbles. But the night before we left, and I probably before a 13-hour drive, I probably shouldn't have been drinking, but anyway, I was, and we mixed some of that screwball with that, so it was like kind of like a
Yeah.
peanut butter apple
Ooh.
flavor. God, it was really good. It was really good. And then I didn't even bring the bottle with me on vacation. So when we got to that roundabout story to tell, like we've gone all this whole big circle to say, you mentioned Tennessee
Yeah.
whiskey. When I was in Tennessee at a liquor store, asking them about, do you have any peanut butter flavored whiskeys? They looked at me like I had worms crawling out of my eyes. They were like, "What the hell's wrong with you, boy?" And I'm like, I don't know. Obviously, I'm a sissy, so I'll not ask that again. Just give me some Jack. Give me the toughest stuff you got. Give me some moonshine. Let me go ahead and get my stuff and get out of here. But yeah,
Right. Oh, you know what's funny about that story though is like when I was playing Mafia Monday last 2 weeks, they had Tennessee Ken on there and Beamers were giving me shit for drinking Screwball
I
whiskey
mean,
because it's peanut butter flavored. Like it's like, hey, it's 20. I love it. And then Drew was over there like, hey, just buy what you like.
that's
Don't
right.
let them. I was like, I'm not gonna go out and buy expensive whiskey just
The
because
heart
to please
wants
you
what the
guys. And
heart wants. Okay.
by the way, last night or not last night, but last time I played Mafia Monday, I didn't
Oh
die at
yeah.
all. 5 nights in a row we played, I didn't die at all, which is
Jeez, dude.
surprising because apparently people hate me, but they don't. They
They
love
couldn't
me.
even target you to get you off.
No, man, they kept, like, telling me to go on, the trial mode. It's like, "Nope, everyone voted different." I was like, "Let's go," and I didn't die at all.
Also,
Anyway,
since you mentioned him, Tennessee Ken, I'm sure it also probably not surprising, not a big flavor of the flavored types of whiskey, because if true to name, he's from
yeah,
Tennessee, then Tennessee Ken is not. He ain't down with all the foofy flavored.
he's he's drinking, like, shit I haven't
Yeah,
even
baby,
heard of in
whiskey
whiskeys, like,
great.
showing the bottles, like, the straight whiskey. I was like, "Bro, I like my whiskey with a little bit of
Yeah,
flavor, okay? I'm sorry, I can't just drink whiskey
we're
straight
soft.
that's"
We act real tough. We're soft.
yeah.
Sorry.
You know, I can drink a lot, but I like it with some flavor, okay? I drink it straight. That's if I mixed
So
it, that could be
interesting
a
enough,
problem.
you brought up Tennessee Ken, and well, I remember because I've interacted with him just a little bit, just a little smidge over the years.
Uh-huh.
But he, for a long time, I don't know if he still is. He was a moderator for the No Dip League, and I just got notification on Discord that they are getting ready for the next season of the No Dip League. Adams, have you ever heard of the No Dip League?
I was literally gonna say, no, I don't know
Well,
what the fuck the no
it's not
dip
like, oh,
league
you can no
is.
chewing tobacco during this tournament, right? Like it's not that kind of dip. It's the
Oh,
no
okay.
dip league, so they have all these different breakdowns. So it's a competitive tournament, right? And in fact, it's a league, right? So there's different divisions, and
Oh,
you can
okay.
sign up different town hall levels. But the deal is that you cannot dip any hits, right? So if your breakdown has like town hall 11s, 12s, 13s in it, the 11s can only hit 11s and up,
11.
but the 12s can't hit any 11s, right? So in the no dip league, you can't, not even to clear up the rest of the war map, you can't hit down. I actually did. Old clan I was in, we did the no dip league a couple of years ago, and it was really fun. But dang, we thought like we had really good. This is back when Town Hall 13 was a meta. We thought we had some really good like 11s and 12s because we were crushing it in regular
Yeah.
wars. We entered that league and just got our asses kicked. Like the guys that join those tournaments, they are no joke. So, but if you're out there and you're looking for a competitive league, especially if you're not all Town Hall 15s, and you and your buddies want to join something fun, look up No Dip League. Look it up on Google or find their Discord server. It's a hell of a league, and they do a really good job. They're really organized too.
Okay, cool, cool,
Tennessee
cool.
Ken. I don't even know if he still
Looking up a little bit.
messes with them. I think he does.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I would like to catch more wars, but again, like, some, I'd say tournaments or Discord servers, they're really strict, like, "Oh, you can't listen to copyrighted music." It's like, "Bro, I don't have VODs on, who gives a shit?" I know, P51 told me to message him, which I might, get into some casting wars because I love casting wars with Clash of Clans, but it's like, dude, I like to drink, have fun, be energized. That's why people come watch my stream to watch me be an idiot and give them a good
Here's
laugh,
what you do, Adams. Okay, I got this all planned out for you, right?
Okay, okay. Oh,
when
sweet.
you're casting wars, other people's wars, right?
Uh-huh.
You don't advertise what you're drinking. You just continue to drink. Just don't make any reference to it, right? Do that
Ooh.
and just spend some time making a really good like copyright free playlist that doesn't sound like trash, but you can at least at least some like theme music in the background that doesn't sound awful. If you get those two things, you could
Okay.
totally cast wars. You could totally cast for the leagues. And then
Oh
whenever
yeah.
you're done, whenever you're done with wars, then you go back to your regular playlist.
I'm gonna do that actually. You know, because of the few wars I've done casting for, like they're like, "Oh my god, your cat, that was sick. That was a sick jump." They're like, "Oh, Clash fans, welcome back," and that was for the bot cup. I didn't do so many wars with the GCC, or like the I forgot what it's called, but you know that one. It wasn't bot cup, but the other server were having problems trying to like
We did the
select.
DPB Cup was one of the ones we did. We did that, and then Birds of Thunder. We signed up for
Yeah,
GCC. I don't.
yeah, GCC.
Yeah,
That's the one. Like getting approved to stream wars for that. They're like, "Oh, why don't you have VODs?" And I was like, "Cause I listen to copyrighted music." Like, "Oh, I'm gonna give you what was it like? Forgot what he said, but it's like, "Oh, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt." I was like, "Really?" Like, I literally told you I listen to copyrighted music. I was like, "I'm not gonna sit there after I stream and then post my stream results because I just streamed your fucking tournament." Like, that's the dumbest shit
yeah.
ever.
Well, I mean, everyone's got their own rules. I'm sure they've got some long term purpose for it.
Yeah,
And I will say this for like GCC is one of the ones that has one of the most comprehensive set of rules. It's good to at least know that they're there before you get into it. You don't want to
yeah,
spend a bunch of time in it and then find out afterwards you can't use any of it. But they're also, I mean, they're trying to make sure that their tournament stays like with a certain amount of promotion for the tournament too. That's why they do the logos and the layouts and everything, which is actually really helpful. But I mean, I get it. One day, if I host
true.
my own tournament, I'll make all the rules I want. Like, hey, certain words you can't say on stream at all. It's just gonna be random. It's gonna be random words. Like, you can't refer to the barbarians as
Yeah.
barbarians. Like, they gotta be the shirtless Neanderthals or something like that. He's not the Barb King. He's the shirtless Neanderthal King. There we go.
Sammy, shut up. Sorry, my dog's whining because my
Okay,
mic
I got a
isn't.
cat sitting on my chair.
I,
Look at her.
I mean, it looks
Do you know
awesome.
something funny about her?
Um,
So I got home from work today, and I had this long
uh,
work week, right? So I cut out of work early today. Not that I was gonna be done working, but I was gonna come home because I had some conference calls after this afternoon. And the second I got home, like she was following me around whining, and she barely ever does that. But like the second like I unmuted the call to like start talking, there she was underneath my chair, just yeah, yeah. So normally when she does that, like I'll reach down and pet her, give her some attention, because I love her. She's a great cat. But I didn't have time for that
yeah.
today, so I had to like shoo her away. So all night tonight, she has been like standoffish. Like I've reached out to pet her, and like she avoids me. And I told my wife, I'm like, she's intentionally trying to withhold affection because she's mad about it earlier.
Right?
So now the second we start recording a podcast, now look at her. Now she's back. Now
She's
she's
like, "What's
back.
up,
Now
mommy?"
she wants to be a part of the show.
I mean, honestly, it looks pretty sick. Like you have a cat just chilling on the like she's like your
I
companion.
have
You know,
this
like you're the
blanket I have
king.
in my
She's
chair is
the wait.
strictly for her because if it's not there, she'll just sit there and just scratch the chair.
Oh, perfect.
Not naughty cat.
All right. I know we do some intros. We got the Clash After Dark clan
Heck
again.
yeah, dude, that's
That
cool.
Carl mentioned that he hopes to have our help with it, and I started our first war, and it was looking pretty good so far. It's looking pretty good. I'm gonna check while we talk
He
about that,
can
but
definitely count on you to help him out.
yes, I'm not gonna mention DMs, but he said he was gonna get it, and I was like, he asked for my help. I was like, yeah, I'll help you out and start wars and do what I can.
I think he
I'm not
did. I
gonna be
think he
the
did
OP
say,
leader.
will you guys help? And you responded back and said, yes,
Yeah,
I'll help. And I very strategically, I missed that response completely. And not that I wouldn't love to, right? And I'm sure anyone
yeah,
out there who's listened to like my list of 10 things leaders should and shouldn't do has probably thought to themselves, Big B's never been a leader of a clan. I was okay, and I enjoyed it for a time, but to do it the way that I want to, it's very time consuming, and I just know I don't have the time to do that. So I very, very much don't want to be leading. Plus, I like second guessing other leaders. So that's one of my favorite things to do. I can't
Exactly,
really do that when I'm one of the leaders. So, just I get to sit in the stands and watch all the time, right? I get to write about the games after they're done, not actually participate in them. It's great. It's just what I want to do.
So, I was streaming. I sent my Town Hall 10. I might send my Town Hall 14 over there just because why not? And right now we're winning 27-12 with 2 hours
Nice.
left. And the enemy team has used 6 attacks out of 20. We used 17 out of 20. So I think we're gonna win.
Yeah, since that clan had not done a war, I think in like 570 days. So it's been a while. And I'm sure whatever system Supercell uses to match up the wars is probably saying, man, we need to give these guys some slow pitch softballs because they hadn't been worn in a while. So, we'll
Right?
probably be good to be super clean right away. But I've got the strategic rushed noob account over there, which
I
I
know.
just I
I'm the
just
one that
took it to
accepted
Town
it.
Hall 11, and it's still got level 1. Every
Oh,
defense on it is level
let's
1, other than the traps. But the king and queen and warden are going right. So it's an offensive force, and it's going to weigh very
let's go,
very
baby.
heavily on defense. But that's what it's designed to do, right? It's supposed to be a
Yeah.
strategic advantage for
A
war.
fun little account just to
Yeah,
put in war, man.
yeah.
Yeah. So all I can suggest if Carl gives me the full leader. I know I'm not saying he's gonna give me the full leadership of it. I'm just saying I'd be a better leader than Steve. That's all I'm saying.
Well, you know,
It's not that hard. But yeah.
it's Steve. By the way,
Alright.
I
Big B, you
trolled
ready to get
Steve pretty bad this week. I
I saw that in the
he's
Discord.
he sent some sarcastic gift back to something. I don't even remember what we're talking about, but I deleted it because I have controls to do that in the server now. And he was like,
Let's
"Oh, we're
go.
deleting." He goes, "Oh, we're
We need you
deleting
back.
comments now," and then I deleted that.
That's like a Steve move on
Yeah,
Steve,
yeah. I'm out Steving Steve.
right?
That's one of my
Exactly.
favorite things to do.
Facts. And by the way, the Clashuals little segment in the C2J Discord is the most talked, like active little channel, whatever you want to call it, in this server. Because we're so
What
OP,
can we
you know?
say? We bring out all the opinions. We incite all of
True.
the rage too. So we're the polarizing figures. There's no Switzerland over here, right?
Yeah.
They're either all blue or
No.
all red. Okay, so
We set fire to
that's right.
everyone. Well, a majority of everyone. I do need to apologize to some people, but that might come
Oh, you
later.
got an apology segment?
Later down, I'm gonna wait for the right
You
moment
get
to
a few
plug it
drinks
in.
more, and
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah,
then.
when I get a little more tipsy, yeah. When I get real deep into feelings, when you
It's
get
funny when
that
you said
drunk and you
feelings. It
start
looked like you were
talking about your
cupping
feelings.
balls there. Is that?
Yeah, you
He
gotta
said,
cup the
when I get real
balls. That's where
deep
the
in the
feelings
feelings,
happen.
like
With the CF9, the balls and the dick is where my feelings are. So, when they get too limp, you drink too much. That's what happens. But I'm excited for the Clash After Dark. There's a lot of history with the C2J Discord on that, and I'm just gonna say I'm proud to be a part of that. I didn't know Hero beforehand. I just came in. I was in like I literally met Carl, also known as Crystal the Join on Twitch, while he was doing the a fundraiser stream for that guy that passed away. And I wish I knew him. I wish I was a part of it before, but that kind of got me to like go to that clan. He's like, "Yeah, we need these people." Left my clans and went to them and been there ever since. And I love Carl, Woo. I love the C2J homies, everyone in the Discord. Steve, you're a shitty leader, but yeah, it's
and
awesome to
even
be a
as
part
bad
of
a
that.
leader as you
And
are,
I didn't even know.
we love you too.
Yeah, so it's awesome to be part of
Yeah,
that.
and I mean the After Dark part's been a part of. I mean, and I was listening to those podcasts for years. Like that's something that's just it's part of the community, right?
right?
So it makes sense. It that not that we got to keep rehashing it, but it definitely makes a lot more sense than DL.
Facts. Like, DL is dumb. All right, you ready to get into these
Let's talk about
spicy
Clash. Let's talk about
topics?
what's going on in Clash.
Let's
Yeah,
on
update everyone.
Clash. All right. So I'll read the topics I came up with, and you can read the topics you came up with. Does that
Yeah,
sound good?
I'm not gonna read them. I'm just gonna talk through them. I'm gonna wing it. I'm
Yeah.
gonna wing it, Adams. I'm just gonna.
Yeah. Yeah.
We've
I
got
wing it all the time.
guidelines here,
So
but I'm just gonna wing it.
we don't gotta get yeah. Okay. So topic one is the drama going on in
Yeah,
Worlds, which is a lot of drama. So they've knocked out so many teams right off of round one just because they don't have a passport. And it's like what of 126 teams going at each other?
I think that's who's supposed to be in stage 2. And of the original, like one, I think it's like 128. That's the number for an even bracket.
120, yeah.
Out of that 128, like almost half of them have been DQ'd over the passport.
I think I don't want to quote, but I think Fatal. Let me kind of go
I know
back to
he
the
quoted because
messages.
he keeps really good track of it. But I remember when I saw the
Okay,
number, I was shocked it was that high.
I found it. That was fast. Okay, it says 80 teams have been DQ'd out of 186 for the Worlds qualifiers. 87 teams because they don't have passports. Like, come on, Clash of Clans, Supercell. If a team that doesn't have passports, why don't you make it so they can play remotely? Why do you have to have it so they have to go to your fake country? Still believe it doesn't exist.
Well,
Haven't been there yet.
Finland is totally real.
I
It's
know. I'm just
hey,
I'm just
guys were there
talking
last
shit.
year. Cool Rick was there last year.
Yeah, no
That's
pictures though.
true. And you know what?
Yeah. See?
Hold on.
Yeah. Yeah, see?
Hold on.
Yeah, no pictures. He doesn't send shit. But anyway, like, come on. Why can't you have people play remotely? Why does everyone have to have a passport just to go to Finland? Have them play. You have the money. You just don't want to put it in to people playing remotely. I think it's bullshit, especially for those teams that put the 40 wars in like what 10 days. That's a lot of wars to do in 10
That's
days, regardless of
that's got to
anything.
feel defeating. I know my questions, and
Exactly
you
right.
may or may not know this. Someone in the chat may or may know this, but the rules around the passports. I'm wondering if that was something that was like explicitly stated to teams while they were doing like the stage 1 qualifiers. I know there's some
Yeah.
teams out there. Heck, I was hearing the leader from the Sons of Guns, Darth Yoda. He was talking like he knew his team wasn't going to go on stage 2, but they did stage 1 just to do it, right? Just to have fun and just to see how they do. So I know there's some teams out there doing it, but I wonder how many of them realized that, without a passport ready to go by stage 2, that was going to be the end of it. If they did know that, then listen, that's the rules. I don't cry over like finding out the rules. If they were presented in front of you, then you should have read them or you should have known about them. And listen, we've heard a bunch of different opinions on, doing the passport cutoff this early. And if you remember, Adams, I don't remember if you
Mhm.
remembered this stage or this area last year when they were doing the qualifiers. One of the things that was much different last year,
Kinda.
because of the 10th anniversary and
Uh-huh.
because they were going to drop Town Hall 15 in, what was it, October, November, whenever they did. They actually had Worlds, I
Yeah.
think in September of last year, because it was early. It was earlier than it normally is. And because of that, these qualifiers, like there was a quick turnaround between the qualifiers and then the in-person real live Final 8 World Tournament, right?
Uh-huh.
And they had a couple of teams. I think it was Marcus Gaming won. It was it this year, maybe it was the year before, that they had qualified and they didn't get in. I know there's an Indian team at least either last year, within the last 2 years that's come. And I remember I used to clash with a bunch of Indian guys and they were all like, yeah, it's really tough to get
Yeah.
your paperwork in India to get to be able to travel like that, especially with a short turnaround. This year there's like 2 months worth of gap, or at least a month and a
Yeah,
half,
there's
because
a
they're going
pretty
to get
big
the
gap. Yeah.
qualifier done I think October 14th is the final for the qualifier, and then the actual in-person tournament is like 6 weeks later on Thanksgiving weekend. But that's a much longer time frame, and even with them cutting off the passport requirement now, you're looking at 2 months before going. I know that Supercell didn't want teams to get all the way to that final stage and then not be able to make it. So I get why they're doing it earlier this year. Plus, they don't want teams who have no chance of being able to travel to make it to that in-person final tournament in November. They don't want them in the bracket eliminating teams that might be able to qualify otherwise. So I get why they're cutting it off early. I just I don't understand how it's like some of the teams that have cut off, like one of my favorite teams, GS, who was last year they were just GS. Now they're United Gaming GS because they got a nice sponsor. They got rid of the old sponsors who I didn't like anyway. And they were world qualifier last year, and they had to drop out because of the passport issue this year as well. So that's really unfortunate when the team qualified last year, and I get it, they've got some different players this year.
Right.
But that's a really good team that I thought that if they got in to the next couple stages qualifier, they were probably one of the teams that was going to qualify. I don't know by the time it's all said and done how many teams will get eliminated that had a legitimate shot to qualify, but that was one of the ones that first stuck out that was like, man, we're missing out because that's a really good team that's not going to be there. But I think that's why they're doing it earlier this time, is to keep or to minimize things like that from happening. So when stage 2 starts, it's all teams that have a legitimate shot of making it to that World Finals. Now, to your point, and correct me if I'm wrong, part of your frustration with it is, well, why can't they just do part of this or all of this remotely, right?
Well, again, yeah, if it's the world, so if a team can't travel to Finland, that should be understandable, but we want the best of the best in the world, right? So if a team say the team that went 40 and whatever, is Bad Singer, right? In the thing. And they had a person that didn't have a passport and they're just gonna kick him out? Like, come on. We wanna see the best of the best in the world, regardless if they have a passport, regardless if they have to play remotely, who gives a shit? We wanna see the best of the best in the world. And I understand people are saying they knew months in advance, they should have had their travel arrangements, passports. Is like, I think they need to cut that shit out. You don't see high quality, like, Call of Duty people like, "Oh, you need to have a passport to go here." No, they do it remotely. What's wrong with that? Set up a little studio. If not, just do it how you normally do. Just have them have webcams on, and then boom. It's not that hard. Like, I get it, but that's how I feel. It's like, come on. I want the best of the best, regardless
Well,
of
I
who it
think
is.
there's a lot of tournaments. I mean, basically every other tournament aside from the Clash World Finals, and then like Snapdragon, which does like their finals
Yeah.
via live event. Most of the ones do their entire tournament remotely. Um, I get the feeling that Clash just wants to do something different from theirs. Plus, they make it like a whole weekend, right? Like they do the Clash finals. They'll do Royale the same weekend. They might do Brawl Stars around the time. Maybe that's a completely different time, but it's at least nearby. So
Mhm.
Supercell kind of has like a celebration of their competitive games all in the same time, and they like doing that in person, right? It's also a good chance. Like I went back and listened last year, um, when Rick and Trample were talking about, um, the Helsinki, and I know Trample didn't get to go, but they were. It was on one of the podcasts he was on. It might have been on the Reddit one, or it might have been when Rick was on someone else's. They're talking about them getting all of the creators that were there in the room at one time to kind of talk about stuff. Like that's stuff that in the long run is good for the game, and they want to have a reason to do that. And they do that
Yeah.
around their world's finals. I mean, I get it. I think honestly they need to rebrand what the tournament is, because to your point, when you say world finals, I mean, do the guys in China really get included? Like they got a qualifier this year. I don't know how well they're going to do, but they play a completely separate game. Like, is that really including part of the world? And then there are no
Okay.
players from, what was it, Russia and Cuba and some of those countries where Supercell's or Clash is not allowing their game to be played.
Yeah.
So is it truly a world tournament when there's, huge countries, huge population just completely excluded? And then of the people that are, there's exclusions for passport and travel issues. I think they need to rebrand it as something else. It can still be their big tournament.
Uh-huh.
It can still be like their end of the year championship. I just call it something besides the World Finals. If it's just
Yeah.
the Clash of Clans like championship, like that's it, then
Yeah.
then quite frankly, there's more wiggle room with this. And I know we're probably just arguing semantics at that point, but I think
Probably, but
that
yeah.
would be a good task for whoever the next esports manager for the Clash team, whenever they
Whatever.
hire that person. That'd be a good task for them to undertake. And by the way,
Right.
I'm still of the mindset that Supercell just needs to hire Fatal to do that because he knows as much about it as
Right.
anyone does.
So I know I can't read chat, but Rick says World Championship is advertising, and it is a crappy commercial, and half the players are in their shitty apartments interested in a big strat
Do you want me to
spectacle.
help you with that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Cork said
Big
World's
words I can't read.
Championships is advertising, and it's a crappy commercial if half the players are in their shitty apartments instead of the big stage for the spectacle. And yeah, and I think that's just point to that's Supercell
Yeah.
wants they want the video of the teams physically on stage holding up the trophy when they win. I think
Yeah.
and listen, I
I get
think
that,
the
but
the idea of having it in person is a great idea.
Mhm.
Just make it clear like this is the tournament, this is a championship for people who are from the certain countries that are allowed to play and capable of getting to Helsinki for the event. Having said all that, when are we going to do a Clash uh, World Championship, or if they rebrand it? When are we going to do it somewhere other than Finland? I mean, I know Supercell likes having everyone at their headquarters, but can we do it in the United States? Right? I mean, that's most of your
right.
content creators are coming from the United States, so that'd be great. We probably have a team. No, we probably wouldn't have a North American team qualify. That'll never happen.
No, but it'd be
But
sick.
for all those North American
You have more
players
turnout.
who want to go, they could just buy a ticket and go. That's probably the closest they'll ever get to making
Yeah.
it to the World Finals.
Y You can just I think there'd be a bigger turnout if it was in, the United States than in Finland. You have more just casual players, like, if it was in the United States Worlds, I'd fucking do Uber every weekend until I can afford the ticket wherever it is,
I'd
regardless if it's
just
in
buy
New
your
York
ticket.
or
I'd buy your
Seattle.
ticket, and we would live stream from it from our phones, and we'd talk shit about
Yeah,
everyone to their face.
exactly. I could bring my big iPad and just sit there, me and you
Yeah.
on the same video, and just
We'd do our
talking
own
shit.
attacks while
It'd
they're
be
attacking
sick,
with the sound on. We'd be like,
right?
who is that? Who is that? Like, huh?
And again, if I ever go to Worlds, I'm gonna get a big foam cap that says CF9 on it, and you'll see me in the live stream with CF9
You get
hat
one of those
on, so you
big
guys can
foam
see me.
like cowboy hats like Lloyd Christmas is wearing in Dumb and Dumber.
It'd be like that, but it'd be like a baseball cap, but it'd be
Oh, you want to
CF9.
get one
So
of the
everyone's like, "Oh,
oversized
were you there?" But
baseball
like,
hats? That'd be sick.
yeah, so I'll get a
That'd be
baseball
sick.
cap, and then on top it'll be
I'd get one
CF9.
of those too, but then they'd be
You
like,
know,
it doesn't look that big on Big B's huge head. His huge
but
noggin.
I think that'd be sick.
By the way, Fatal says
Eh,
they need to do it in
I
Dubai.
okay, I would never go to Dubai, but okay.
Talk
I don't
about
even have my
pricing out.
passport. If I had the money to get my passport, I'd get my passport, but I would never be able to afford a ticket to, anywhere else, so I just have it, just like, "Can I have this pointless book?"
Yeah, I think
Okay.
listen so to wrap up the outrage. I get why they're doing it. It does really suck for some of those teams because I know I talked
Yeah.
about GS, but there's some other ones like Fatal didn't even get to compete, right? Like he's on a team, but he didn't even play because he knew he was not going to have a passport to go. right?
Yeah.
So that's I almost feel like they should do two separate events. Like Supercell should host one that's 100% remote, so that
Mhm.
the fatals of the world or whoever wins that one can be like, this is the real championship, and then they can do an in-person one for the pictures and the photo opportunities as well. And that one can be like their in-person Clash Fest, right?
Right.
Something like
Oh,
that.
there we go. All right. You want to go
Yeah. So
to your
I
second?
had the next two topics are kind of these ideas. Just listening to everyone else talk about their ideas, and I always get really jealous when I hear someone else come with a really good idea in the game because I'm like, man, I should have thought of
Right.
that. And I had one. Listen, over the last 2 weeks, where I had a lot of time in the car, a lot of time listening to other people talk on their podcasts or on their streams about the game, I've had a lot of really good ideas, but they were always at times when I couldn't like write them down and remember them, and I forgot them. And I think I had like 4 or 6 that I was like, man, these are really good ideas, and there's only 2 that I actually remembered, and I hate that about myself. Anyway, one of them is we were talking about like the mechanism of scouting in war, right? So currently, if you are in preparation day in a regular war, you can look at your opponent's base, and you can. I take it back. Not preparation day. When you're actually in war day, if you haven't attacked a base yet, you can look at the base. You look at the layout. You can start making your plan. You can tap on one of their defenses when you're just viewing it, and it'll show you the range. Right? It'll help you make sure whether is this a
Mhm.
ground expo or an air expo. Right? And you touch on it, you can see the range.
Yep.
You can see if it's going to hit you or not. I think a really cool function that they could add to the game that might make some of the more noob attackers like myself not just totally miss stuff when preparing for attacks is to have a button on that same page that's just range, or it's all range. And when you click on it or hold it down, all the defensive ranges show up simultaneously. So you can kind of see the map for, all right, where are the places where I'm going to get hit and how many things are going to hit me, right? You can do that currently,
Yeah.
but you got to do it one at a time, right? And sometimes like you do that, you'll still miss stuff. And I get it. That's part of the skill of the game is being able to recognize if you put troops here, you're not just going to hit by this, but you're going to hit by this and this too. But I think a very quick way to do that would be just one button, and every defense that's out there on the board, it shows their range. What it might do, what I think would be
Ooh.
cool is if you did that and you noticed that there was part of the base where nothing was going to be able to touch you, especially for like a lead-in position.
Mhm.
You could see now it wouldn't show you traps. Obviously, it's not going to show you like the Tesla farm, so you still got to worry about that. Especially if there's like a void in the
Yeah.
base where it looks like okay, there's not much hit me here. But if you're planning like a queen charge, right? I can't tell you how many times, and this is just because I'm not a good attacker. Okay, let me just preface it by that. There's too many times where I start her in a direction and she's going the direction I want her to, and everything's working right. And
Yeah.
then I get to a certain place, and then I'm getting hit by more defenses than I had planned for, and I'm screwed. I'm in big trouble. Like I'm about to ruin the whole thing.
Right.
And it's just one of those things where if you could see the ranges altogether, it would help you out, or it might help me avoid, or just I'm just going to start somewhere else, or help me remember like, all right, I got to put something out there to soak up some of this damage or to tank in front of her. I think an all range would, I think it would help, especially guys
Yeah.
like me. What do you think? What do you think? Would you use it if it was there, Adams?
I think I like that, especially when you have that 30-second timer. Like, especially for me when I'm in like if I want to send a blimp this way and I'm trying to check like which sweepers the range is in and stuff is mainly my most because I don't queen charge. I'd never queen charge.
Well,
I've never
so
tried
so
Valo.
to clarify, if you hit attack and you were in that 30-second, like that final scout, you wouldn't be able to use it
Yeah.
then. And like you wouldn't be able to use it in
Oh,
Rage, you
okay.
wouldn't be able to use it in Legends. It would just be for scouting a base in War. In fact, you could use
Oh,
it in
okay. Okay. Okay.
CWL, right? Because on War Day you can scout the base you're going to hit. But just for that, you'd still like you still have to YOLO everything else, right? For raids and legends, like you just gotta go with what I got cooked. But for a war hit, which one of the big differences in wars as opposed to, the raids or legends is that you should be able to look at the base. You should be able to know everything you want to know that you can see from it.
Yes.
And you shouldn't make mistakes,
Okay.
theoretically, on stuff that you can see when scouting that base. I'm saying that takes a lot of time to do, and I always have that time, and this would
Yes.
probably help.
Honestly, if it was a feature, I'd use it just because it helped me with the blimp. Obviously, I'm not the best attacker either, but suits our champ. I gotta get the belt off me. But yeah, I think that'd be a lot useful than just I don't just trying to look at the air defense or just looking at what defenses are where you're trying to send whatever's like. I think that'd be a extremely useful tool if I could talk. Yeah, I think they need to implant that into the game. It'd be sick. It'd help so much more with especially with the noob casual players that don't really plan their attacks to plan a little bit more.
You know where it would really help me?
I think it'd be sick.
When
Yeah.
I am planning where I'm going to send Hydra from, right? My
Yeah.
preferred method, or like the cadence that I've got that I like doing, because I keep the yak on the king. Sorry, Fatal, I do. I'm expecting
Okay.
him to clip a building on the outside and then move a certain direction, and he's going to move that certain direction, taking out buildings. And what's going to stop him is when he meets up to where the queen is, and she's knocked down buildings in front of him, to where the only direction he's got to go is through a wall. So he's going to turn towards a wall. Yaks can get him through that wall, and then we're in a compartment that we need to clear. That's on one of the corners that I need to help funnel the Hydra, right? What
Yeah.
happens to me all the time, and even though it happens, I still do it. I will look at, all right, where do I want to drop him to get him going, right? And I'll look at the closest defense and be like, okay, if I put him here, he's going to get hit instantly. I could save a few hit points if I just place him on one building over, and we're gonna clean up those buildings afterwards anyway, so it's not going to matter. So I'll drop him where I think it's a little bit safer, and inevitably it's a longer range defense that's behind it that I haven't thought of. Or, I mean, this range all is not going to help, but usually there's a Tesla farm right there that I wasn't accounting for. And then King goes the wrong way, and then I'm thinking,
Yeah.
all right, I need to flip Hydra and send it from the other side. And then that never works the way I want it to. Absolutely 0 times ever.
Okay. I think that'd be sick because you know the ranges of shit. I do think they need to update the. I know this is kind of going off of what you were saying, but they need to update the Queen AI. Okay. What pisses me off is the Queen sits there beating on a wall, but there's an opening like right there. Why can't she just walk around? And also, what they still haven't fucking fixed is the fucking invisible warden.
I saw
Come
that in
on.
a competitive war the other day.
Yeah. They still haven't fixed it. That's been around since Town Hall 14. Like,
You know
come
what
on.
kills me about the Queen
Come on.
AI? And I think this is how she's legitimately written, but if she's one of the last players on the map, right? And
Uh-huh.
she's in a compartment, it's a closed compartment, but it's kind of near the exterior. If she is
Yeah.
equal distance between a building that's still in the dead center but closed off versus a building that's on the exterior and closed off, she almost always goes towards the building that's on the exterior, right? And
Yeah.
whereas inevitably what'll happen is she'll beat down a wall to get to that building that's on the exterior, and then she'll never get back inside. Versus if she would hit the wall and take the one that's in the middle, that's actually sometimes I feel like it's even closer to her, but she won't do it because she will purposely target whatever's further to the outside. And then when she gets out there and cleans all that up, usually it's that one building left in the middle that doesn't get taken.
Right. Because you didn't have enough minions or something to go after
Because
it. Yeah, that's
queen
I
and
like
a
that idea
queen,
though.
huh?
I like your idea. But they definitely need to update the Queen
Should
AI.
make her read my
Alright.
mind already. Come on.
Right? Make her know what attack we're doing and where we want
For
her to go, God
real.
damn it. Let's
Is
just
that too
draw a
much to
line where we
ask?
want our queen to go.
They need to implement a joystick so I can just control where
Exactly,
she
right?
goes after we deploy her.
You imagine just new from Apple, a joystick so you can play
Just for
and you
Clash
can
of Clans.
pick
Just for
what
Clash of Clans.
yeah. Just for Clash of Clans and you can and if
The
you're on
actual
Android, you
joystick is a
fuck
little
off
like
Android.
queen figurine.
Yeah,
Just
it's
put your
like
thumb on her head and move her
Atari Dra
around.
oh, yeah, there you go, yeah. It'd be like this, right? It'd be like this, and you just For those that don't are watching only on audio only, is I have a queen statue and put my thumb on her head. Anyway,
All right,
let's go to the third topic. We have a lot of
I had another topic, and this one's
topic
not near as much for gameplay. This is just something I think it'll be cool, because a lot of talk recently from a lot of people, from a lot of content creators, from a lot of other podcasts about all of like the in-game challenges, special challenges. I know Trample's designed a couple of them, and he's talked about the process of going through them, which is really cool. I know a lot of like other content creators, some pro players have done some of these challenges, and most of the time when they're themed, like they're different, right? But we're a couple years into doing these challenges. I remember like the first one they did was that winter Wonderland challenge. It was like, it might be 3 years ago now. I think we're coming up on the third anniversary for it, if I'm not mistaken. But that was like the first time they did that, and they got such good feedback. Then they started making it like a regular thing. So there's a regular challenge almost every month. It feels like, but there's been some really good ones out there. Some ones that were just really fun, right? Remember last year when they did Clashuals, they had all those ones, and there's like a leaderboard for like how fast you could finish it, right? Or there's one like how many troops can you do it with? Who can get it with the least amount of troops? I really think that in the game, in single player mode, there should be 2 tabs. One for your goblin map, because there are people out there that still like to do that. But there should be another one just to go back and replay old challenges. They just have a tab that's every challenge we've done. And there's no, they shouldn't make like, a whole bunch of rewards. In fact, I'd be fine if the only monetary benefit you got was if you did the challenge when it was active, when it was the main one in the game. But you could go back and practice, just replay in the game as many times as you wanted to. And I was just thinking like, okay, but what good would that really serve other than people just wanting to get in there and mess around and do stuff? You could, from a competitive standpoint, you could have like special theme challenges where you incorporated those types of challenges in it, right? Like you could have like, all right, there's a tournament bracket, and seeding is based off you're gonna spin a wheel randomly, and you're gonna get one of the old challenges, and then you've got to do it with whatever stipulations. Like you could do that, and all those maps there's so many different. There's so many different old challenges out there, and so many of them were worked in so many different ways. Like you could do things with that if it was available. I don't know if they still have all of those maps just sitting around somewhere, but I like every time I think back on one of those old challenges, especially the ones that I didn't do too well on, or I didn't really try that hard, because I don't always try really hard on them. But then when I've got time sitting around, especially if I'm like in between attacks, I'm like, you know what would be fun? I just go dick around on that stupid spooky challenge. It had like 1,000,000 skeleton spells in it. It's just skeletons all over the place. Like that'd be fun just while I'm waiting for troops to cook something. And plus, you think about like low level players who are just getting to Town Hall 6, Town Hall 7 for the first time. They're just getting a hero, and they're like, oh man, I got to upgrade all this other stuff before I get to the next ones. They go do a challenge that has those other heroes in it, and all of a sudden it's a little bit of practice for them, right? It's good that they've got those, every month or so where they can do that in game, but just a standard place where you go back and look at them again. I think that would be really cool.
Yeah, that'd be sick. I think it'd be cool. Obviously, if you haven't done them before, like ones you haven't done, you still get the loot. But if you've done them, it would be cool to go back to them and just practice like how many troops you can save or how to do a queen charge in this little map. It kind of give you that idea how to do certain attacks or the timing on your king and warden ability depending on the challenge. I think it'd be sick. I like
Think
that
about
idea.
like one of those
They definitely
challenges last year was just a base that was used during the actual world competition, and it
I
was
remember that.
the army comp that would actually 3-start it, and the challenge was to replicate it, right? 3-start with these troops the same way. If you're not playing at that level yet, but you want to, man, there's like infinite practice time on what was a really good base, right? If you want to practice different ways of going about it, I mean, you could just do that and replicate it over and over again. And I mean, that's skill building, right? Stuff that you can
Exactly.
develop through raids if you want to, if you've got the time to do that, right? Or if there's a mode like that where you could just go in and do as much as you wanted, I think that'd be really cool. Plus, like I said,
Yeah.
I know there are creative people out there who, when they come up with tournaments or they come up with some type of event, right? They're always looking for something different, and then whether that's excluding types of troops or spells or certain themed events, like those are born out of the most creative thoughts within the current game. If you had
Yeah.
access to all of those challenges, you could incorporate that in fun ways. You could have some really dynamic events out
Oh, yeah.
there if it was always, you know, doing something that tied into one of those challenges or multiple of those challenges, right? Plus,
Oh,
think about like
facts.
the stuff you could do like on Twitch, right? Like in downtime, like all right, spin the wheel and I got to do a challenge, and
Right?
if I don't triple the challenge on the first time, even though I've done it before, if I don't triple it the first time,
Take a shot.
gotta take a shot or gotta chug a beer or something like that, or
Yeah.
whatever it is. That could be fun.
Yeah. I think that'd be sick. I like that. Like, it's just a little there's a little thing maybe under, like, the Goblin single map, like, past challenges or something, you can just click on and you see them all. You'll see the ones that you did good on. Obviously, if you did triple them, you won't get that loot back, but it's just good practice, especially for the people that are getting new heroes and shit. I like that idea. A lot of people in the stream agree with you, Puppy.
Some of those ones that had
Puppa.
leaderboards,
I went to say Puppy.
I mean, I guess you could have an all-time leaderboard up there. Think about that. If
Yeah,
it's the one like
there
for
you go.
troop space and someone takes it down with only heroes, doesn't use any troops, they'd be number one on the leaderboard wherever.
True. Fuck legends. Just
That's the
take 'em
leaderboard I
down,
want to be on, right?
right? I'll always fail because I have to use YouTube a lot to complete those
Yeah,
challenges.
I think there's only been a handful of ones that I actually um, beat on my own without help. However, one of them, so last month, not
Uh-huh.
it wasn't the chess one. It was what they did the month prior. The Queen challenge
Uh,
that month, for whatever the theme was. I already forgot what it was. Dang it. But whatever that theme was, the Queen challenge was supposed to be like the hardest one of the month. That was the only one that I
yeah.
went in and I just looked at it and I'm like, I'm gonna just try this one time. Then I'll go watch and see how Trample's gonna tell me to do it, or I'll go see how Judo tells me to do it. And
Right.
the first time I tried it on one of the accounts, I 3-starred it, and I was like, I don't know. I don't even like even on the easier ones. I don't know that I've ever gotten 3 on my own on the first one ever. And when I was done with it, I'm like, man, they must have just like I just super lucked out, or this one's really not meant to be that hard. Because when I look at them, I don't ever know like,
Right.
all right, are people generally gonna think this is hard or not? Like I never have a good gauge on that. And it was after that I was hearing everyone say like, oh, we had to take stuff out of the Queen one because we originally made it too hard. Now people are still saying it's too hard, and I'm like, dang it, that's the only one that I've ever actually gotten on the first try. Like the Queen one for the chess, which everyone liked, but everyone liked it because
Uh,
it wasn't supposed to be made super hard. I failed that stupid base like 8 times before I figured it out. So yeah, it was the easier one, but I messed up. But lo and behold, the stupid one from last month that was supposed to be the hardest, stupid luck. Look at me. I think it's because I've been
let's go.
practicing Queen charges and legends again. So I think
Well, there you go.
all my practice paid
Awesome.
off. I still
Probably.
to this day, when Queen charges start, especially Town Hall 15, and it works, and I get 3 stars, after the attack, I can't really put my finger on why it worked. I just know sometimes it does.
All right. You ready to
I'm
go to
going
the
to
next
update
topic?
people on the
The
Pod
Pod
Wars.
Wars. All right. First of all, we're gonna update you guys on the Pod Wars, and I got to give a big shout out to Big B for coming up with the doc and everything, come up with
It only
the
took me like two
rules.
months, right?
He's OP. Only took a while, C2J podcast probably gave us a little push before they stole our ideas. So
I don't think
What's
they were
I'm gonna
ever
send it to
actually
you.
gonna steal it. I mean,
No.
I don't think they're ever hosting their own event ever again anyway. So shots fired. Um, but yeah, I knew it was time. So if you are listening to this and you are someone who also frequents podcasts and you're like, I haven't actually seen anything what they're talking about. That's right. We haven't published it yet. Because I was still, even like as of a couple days ago, I was still getting feedback on the rough draft that I sent out. So I sent it to a couple of guys. GCBC sent me a lot of really good notes, and I want to make sure and check and see how many of those things are viable. I might want to make some amendments to it before I publish it. But I'm thinking that before this weekend is up, that I'm going to have it posted in the podium for the other podcasters. Right now, the plan is to have it available to anyone who is any contributing factor to an existing Clash Clans podcast. That means hosts, co-hosts, right? That could also include people who have just been special guests, people who have been on before. So that could be your Magic Knobs. That could be the aforementioned Darth Yodas of the world. That could be people who had podcasts like our buddy Catfish, who, quite frankly, I mean, I would love for him to be a part of it. Oh, there he is in chat too. Look at that. Right on the money. I would love to be able to chat with him live for just a couple minutes. Right now, the plan is just everyone that gets on about 20 minutes. And I know like that might end up being a really long stream depending on how many people we get signed up. But we're gonna have a war. We're gonna break it down teams. Once we see how many people are signed up, Adams is gonna have a team. I'm gonna have a team, right? We are gonna pick the lineups. We're not gonna do a draft or anything. We're doing it basically. My idea is when you sign up, you're gonna suggest who you want to be able to hit in the war. So like you can give us a couple of names, like, all right, these are the people that I want to hit in war, and we're going to try our best to get you guys on separate teams so you can actually do those hits, right? So it's not just, all right, let's see you attack. It's let's see you attack someone that you really want to like rub it in their face. Okay, you really want to show everyone like I didn't just do really well. I didn't just triple. I tripled that guy. So we're going to try to set it up like that. But about 20 minutes because it's a 2-hit war, right? So in that 20 minutes, 6 of those minutes are going to be the 2 hits that you're doing. So we want to have a little time to just, throw some friendly jabs at you. If there are people that we haven't talked to before, a little bit of friendly banter. And then we want you to talk a little bit about what your plan is for your strategy so that we can second guess you, right? But we're also planning on ways to sabotage your... Did you see that? That cat just reached out and touched me. She's putting her paw on my back. Now she's feeling all affectionate. But we want people who come on to the Pod Wars, we want them to be able to plan their attacks. But we want to have some fun discussions about what you're going to do. And when you go into attack, Adams and I are going to do our research on what you like to do, what you don't like to do, and things that may or may not throw you off your game while you're hitting. And our goal during your 2 attacks is to say or do something to distract you to really, really mess up your hit. And I've already had some really good ideas on some creative things I want to do to some people out there, but all in good fun. And listen, I hope no one takes their attacks too seriously because we're in it for the lulz.
Yeah.
For the
content.
lulz. And
I do have to.
Fatal's in here. Hashtag Team Adam. Fine, Fatal.
Well, I was gonna say the one exception to the voice chat is gonna be Fatal. We love Fatal. He doesn't have to come in. He can just do his
Okay, but
attack.
here's the deal.
You,
Here's the deal. If we do that, if we make a special rule for Fatal, we do have to have confidence that he is listening to everything we're saying. Like we've got to be his spotters while he's hitting. He's got to be able to listen to all of the messed up things we're going to say to him to try to mess him up.
Well, maybe he'll unmute his mic and just say, "I can hear you guys."
He'll just unmute and be like, "Screw you guys."
Yeah. That's the only one exception because Fatal called it right when Big B had the or the idea to do the Pod Wars, and Fatal said Team Adam. So now that we know that we're doing separate teams, Fatal has the exception. So that's the only exception. Everyone else, you got to be in the voice call. I don't care if you don't want your voice heard. It's gonna happen. If you don't want your voice heard, don't be on the Pod Wars. You don't have to show your face.
Here's the other
You
thing
just have
too.
to
We
talk.
want to do this as one continuous live stream on Twitch too, because we're gonna
Yeah.
record it and we'll post it to the Clashuals YouTube page too. So you can go back and relive all the messed up things that we said as well. By the way, we got to make a copyright free playlist for that too, because YouTube will definitely
Yes.
take us down if we've got copyrighted music.
I'll look into that.
We've
I can
got
only use
time.
YouTube.
So here's the other, I guess
we have
here's the other update, right? While we're getting into the things we've hashed out, we want to do it on October the 14th. If you're in the U.S., kind of afternoon time, probably on in the evening. It could end up being a really long stream for us, Adams. I hope you got that day cleared out. For the people participating though, you only need like 20 minutes max.
Yeah.
Co-hosts, if you want. So like if Carl and we want to come on the same time, we can do their time together, do a longer segment. But it would be really fun to have them both on or something like that, or anyone who's got a co-host, you can do it at the same time. That way, if you wanted to participate in throwing off your co-host, you could help us spot them while they're doing their hits.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
But the reason I want to do it on October 14th is because that is the day of the last World Qualifiers stage. So that's when it's all wrapped up. That's when the final stage will be on Twitch. So we'll have a bunch of viewers on Twitch already for that. So we want to be live and going honestly before that completely wraps up, because when that ends, the few hanger-ons who are going to stick around Twitch to see what else is on Clash today, maybe they only got the tail end of that and they want to see something else. Hey, there we are for you. Hopefully we get a good amount of viewers and we get to talk about Clash Podcepts just as a concept to a lot of people who might not otherwise think about it or know about it. We want to make sure that that's available for the other podcast hosts, because we want it to be fun for them, but we also want to introduce as many people to all the great Clash podcasts that are out there as well.
Carl said both hit times in 20 minutes, or one hit?
It's
format.
2 hits in 20 minutes.
Yeah, that's for you and your co-host. Carl, if you and Woo want to come up. Nope.
If you wanted to go on with your co-host, we could extend your time too, right? So instead of doing one person for 20 minutes, you could do 2 people for 40 minutes, which would then mean each of you have to do 2 hits, but within that 40 minutes.
There you go. And TJ, that's a good one. He said long stream, no sleep, ClashFan JK. And I can't promise I'll be sober that stream because I have nothing to do on a Saturday, so I'll probably be drinking mid-afternoon.
Well, and I'm committed to this too on October 14th. I've already cleared out the schedule. If we get so many signups that, like, let's say we had enough people to do a 24-hour stream just every 20 minutes, Adams and I are on this bad boy until it's done. I don't know who's going to go back and rewatch that entire video on YouTube afterwards. We might have to post it in segments.
I
have to chop it up a little bit.
Maybe, but I will post the full 24 minutes, and everyone says you need to edit this down. I will edit it down what just shows the text. But I will post a full video if it's that long or however long it is, and I'll just edit out the text if people want to.
Here's the thing that I think would be cool is afterwards we can chop up that video, and everyone who joins, we can send their segment to them individually. So if they've got a YouTube channel or they've got somewhere else they want to post it, they're on Discord server and they don't want to see the other 23 hours of the stream, they could just do that. So that's the idea we've come up with.
That's mostly by the way, not me. That's on me for the editing.
I can do video editing. Actually, the video editing, I've got some pretty good experience in, like, chopping it up. I've got the software to do that.
I mean, I have the software now that I feel comfortable doing it because I have Vegas Pro 21, expensive software. So I like the software I'm using now. So I want to get more to editing. And I know I don't edit more of the podcast. Everyone's bitching.
Audio editing
is keep a lot
tough.
of the podcast in. Well, I don't. So when I edit the podcast, here's a little insight. I
little
don't just
inside
edit.
baseball. Is
I'll
that what we're
edit the
doing?
video itself. I don't do audio itself. I edit the video and then I turn it
Gotcha.
into audio. So I don't do what Carl and Rick do and just edit audio. I edit the video in Vegas Pro, render it as a video, and then turn it
I
into an
I
audio. So
feel
I
like
edit
that.
out
I feel like
the
that would
boring stuff.
be quicker to do because if you know if you got in your mind like what you need to edit out, you can actually skip to the video to when you see it happening to know you're there. Versus when it's
Yeah,
just an audio recording, you've got to listen till you get to that point, right? Even if you get the time written down, you got to get there and you got to listen to just the right moment. And even at that,
exactly.
you know,
I mean,
it's
even say like right now, say obviously when we're done talking about this, I'm gonna take a pee break, but I'll write it down. I still have to get to that right point where I disappear, edit it out, and then put it back in. So it's still kind of challenging, but it's easier with the video because you can kind of see when I'm gone or right before I'm gone, and then you can just boom, and it's like nothing happened. That's what I did last episode when I said I had to take a pee break, came back, edit out the whole banning the bullshit person, and then boom, I was just like, oh, do you ever sit down when you pee? I took a pee break during that whole edit. And no one, you might know, but obviously it's not a smooth edit. But yeah,
Knob said that's a pretty lame
but
idea, to be honest. What?
I don't know. Knobs are calling you out.
He
Okay,
said it's
guys.
lame,
Before we go to non, fuck
and
Knob.
fuck
He
you,
wants you
Knob.
to do a fucking. He doesn't want to. Knob's mad because he said he wants to be on my team, but Fatal already called my
Knob can
team.
be on your
Okay,
team
but
too.
no,
Hell, if I get a chance to pick,
I'm not
Knob's the guy
talking
I'm
about that,
hitting.
right?
Plus,
Oh,
he's
okay.
got the worst
Um,
layouts in the world. Okay, if I'm
hold on.
gonna
I gotta
3-star and bring
write.
this baby home, it's gonna be on Knob's base. Believe that. Believe that.
Okay, an
Oh,
hour
that's the other part of it
ago,
too. Is that then Adams and I have to do the very
and
last hit. So if the war's close, then the pressure will be on us. And every single guest who comes on is invited to come back and scout for us at the very end if they want to stick around for it, or if they want to go take a nap and come back later. We'll have the
facts.
times up for it if you want to. So you can absolutely come and seek your revenge on us if you dare. If you dare. I don't know if either of us are flappable though. Adam's like, I feel like they can say any fucked up thing they want, and I'm just like, cool.
So if that did happen and I'm attacking, I'm just gonna like zone out
You
what they're
have to
saying and
listen
just do
to it.
my regular. I'll zone
We're
out. I
gonna
have
we're gonna make a
ADHD. I can
rule that
multitask like a
anything that's asked in the
motherfucker.
form of a question, you have to do your best to answer while you're attacking.
Oh,
God,
while you're
that would be
attacking? Oh, I
awful.
like that.
God.
That'd be sick. That'd be so bad. Okay, anyway, let me go take a pee before we go to non-clash. I already wrote it down. An hour, 11 minutes,
Oh,
and
you're gonna
taking a
leave
pee
me
break.
with the.
I
And
gotta
this
pee,
is gonna be
man.
my live stream now for a couple seconds.
Yeah, it won't.
Something that Adam's talked about before that he really wants to do, and that we're still gonna plan on doing that eventually. This one is just I want to get this one out of the way because I just got it in my mind. I really want to do this one for the lulz. Just really want to. Who are the teams? It's Big B versus Adams.
Yeah, it's. Come on, man.
I mean, we
All
gotta be
right,
separated in teams, but it's more. It's less about which team wins, and it's more about like how many people can we get to just
exactly right.
fail miserably on their hits. That's more
The October
October.
17th,
It's in
14th.
the rough draft I sent you, Rick.
Yeah, Rick, fucking learn.
The one that
Rick,
you were pumping your gas near during. You remember that one? Remember when you're getting gas the other day? You remember that?
It's funny though. If Rick does come on with his co-host, he has 3 co-hosts or 2 co-hosts.
I mean, if you want to be technical, we're allowing anyone that is involved. I mean, at
I
times
got you now.
they've had like 5 or 6 people. Now it's been a while. It's basically been him, Spencer, and Sam for the most part, and then Liam most recently. But if you go way back in the day, they had different people on in the earlier Reddit Talks
I'm gonna have
Clash.
to edit this out, guys. Okay, we got fucking Duck said Crystal to join versus Zero to join. We don't have a Zero to join plan, so
Well, I
have
guess
to.
I couldn't be on the zero to join team. But that
Yeah.
that also guarantees that you and Knob will be on the same team. So
Well, I do have a ClashFan9 thing, so clan, but I want a higher up clan. So maybe if we'll use After Dark or some other clan for the FCs. By the way, we also have to put the timer. All right, you guys ready for some non-clash related topics, or do you want to sit here and talk to chat for a little bit?
I mean, we are getting some good points
Yeah, we are.
about. And listen, some of these guys who I DM'd the rough draft who just responded back like, "Oh yeah, it's fine," and now all of a sudden they're coming up with the good ideas. Like
Right?
I knew live conversations are better for this stuff.
Well,
But we are listen. I'll say this: we are open to feedback. Like we've got kind of the parameters we want to do. But anyone's got any good ideas, especially anything that's gonna, we want it to be funny. Okay, we want it
exactly.
to be fun. We want it to be funny. We want to promote the podcasts, and above everything else, we want it to be funny. Like we want it to just be people who
Oh,
play Clash. Like God, that was hilarious. Um, but
Carl just
anything
gave us
else that
permission.
do what?
Carl just gave us permission to use any of the clans for the event, by the way. So let's go.
Just I have 2 clans that I own.
Oh, well, I don't
So
have any
I mean,
clans I own, so
what
except
happened to the
Clash
one?
Royale.
Yeah, you could
I've
use that one.
yeah, but it's a level 1. Does it matter? I guess if
I
they don't
mean,
have a if they have a gold
people are
one,
gonna have to know that if they're wanting to join your team. Like, all right,
yeah.
but your donations are so
No,
much.
we'll figure it out. But, how about this? After Clash After Dark, we'll, go back to the right, what does
Art
Carl
wants to
say?
know if he can only go on voice with his co-host or any other podcasters. And quite frankly,
Your co-host.
um, I'd say yeah. I
Oh,
mean, and if it was if we get that far down there, enough people sign up, but we get specific requests for, hey, I want to be a guest host to help spot for this particular person, we could allow that. We could absolutely allow that.
now, do you still wanna do the guest star thing?
I think that's probably how we're going to do it. The thing I like about guest star is if we get it working, then we can send the guests, we can send them a link and they can actually log into it anytime. Like they can log in early
Oh,
and then
okay.
we just have their Twitch account staged, and then when it's time for them to come on, I just drag them over into one of the spots.
Okay.
I've got to get the layout set up for that and everything, but for the most part that seems pretty easy. If I don't find a way to get that to work, I mean we could do it in Discord and I could just create
Yeah,
a layout that
I
that makes it fit.
what I was gonna say, if we just do it on Discord, it'd just be us with a shared screen. It'd be kinda wonky, but it'll still be recording regardless of it, and,
Oh
yeah.
yeah, I could have the iPad simulcast on one of the monitors
Yeah,
and just have it up
'cause you can
have it
stream
up on
Discord
Discord.
as well, and I can
Share.
stream separately, and we d okay, yeah. Alright,
We
let's get
could.
into non-clash related. Guys, we'll answer your questions after we're done, if Big B has time. Okay.
Yeah, I got time.
Alright, let's go to
Nothing but
non-clash related topics, guys. Let's get it. I'm not gonna do a separate intro because 'cause we're not the C2J. Alright.
time.
This is what were you gonna say?
I say I could. You want me to do a now time for non-clash topics?
I'd be like, "Welcome to non-clash related topics."
Yeah, we're now for our super creative named non-clash related topics segment, brought to you
Oh,
by the Clashuals.
Carl, you keep messing us up with your questions. If you missed it, we'll answer it later. Alright, alright, topic 1, Gartic Phone with the homies. Okay, if you guys don't know, Gartic Phone is a Discord game you can play with your friends in the server, and we've been having so much fun. We played it a while back. It's on my YouTube page for those in the live stream. Just do exclamation point YouTube. You can find the first Gartic Phone video. It's only I did post a long one. I did delete it. It's only the last 15 minutes, just the animations, but it's fucking hilarious. And I'm always drunk when we play it, and we need to get that more scheduled up to where we can play Gartic Phone or guess that song or whatever, guess that movie. But it's so much fun, just all of us trying to draw stupid shit to stupid sentences we made, and a lot of people know it's from me because I can't spell worth a damn. But regardless, it still hurts your chest. You're always laughing. You rewatch the video. It's so great, so much fun. What are your thoughts on our Gartic Phone, Big B? Like,
First off, the fact that If, for those of you who haven't played before, if you're listening to this and you haven't played, it's we do it through Discord. Adam says, and by the way, have you posted the video from the last one?
Not yet. I'm gonna edit it. After this.
Dude, that was like
I know.
that was
I
like
know. I'd suck. I have it saved. I have it saved. Don't worry. I did not delete it. I have it saved. So
the public demands it,
I know.
Adams. This is in,
I
it's
know.
in high demand. All right,
I
you gotta strike while the iron's hot. You're really hot right now. He's so hot right now. Okay, you got that juicy hot content. You gotta. I'm telling you. You're gonna want that cowbell. Okay.
Carlos, your fault. You missed it. All right. Yeah. But anyway, go back to your thought, Big B.
But Gartic Phone just as a game in general, it's every time we do it, I'm glad we did. Other than like before I know it, we've gone from starting at like 11 o'clock and it's like 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, and I always hate myself the next morning. Two things: one, because I don't sleep very much afterwards, but two, I always hurt myself laughing at some point in time during Gartic Phone. And by the time I get composed, I think like, all right, I'm past it, and then I wake up the next morning feeling slightly hungover from whatever I did to myself laughing at it from the night before. That's when you know it's a good time. But to your point, especially some of the guys that we've played with, some several times, some more recently, the more you play with them, the more you pick up on things. Like you said, every time that the first round, everyone picks a topic that they want the next person to have to draw, right? Every time that first drawing segment happens and someone gets one and they see misspelled words, they're always like, "All right, I got Clash fans. This one's Clash fans because all the words are spelled wrong."
But again, it's like
or about the third game in when someone draws something and then writes real big next to it, "Damn Shun." We're like, "All right, Knob drew that picture."
Yeah, exactly. It's like,
but what's great is every time it happens, the second that phrase gets introduced into the pictures, that's always one of the moments that I lose my shit. Because he never drops in the first game we play. Sometimes it's not in the second one. So I forget that's a thing. And then when he drops it, oh my God, I lose it. It's good timing.
Yeah.
It's good quality comedic timing there. And I think that's why the games are so much fun, because it's not just about like knowing each other. It's it's making fun of each other. And sometimes the size of, or lack thereof, of penises for each other. And you get to exemplify, like, people like, you want to show someone in a very angry mood, right? Like you draw the stick figure with the frowny face and then a huge, hard, raging boner, that signifies rage. Or when someone's sad, right? You do the eyebrows to in the sad, droopy face, and then a little itty bitty little sad pecker on them. Yeah. Like every stick figure gets drawn in Gartic Phone gets a penis drawn on them, so in some way, shape, or form, and that's used to convey emotion that is meant to be translated from what you're drawing.
Exactly. And I don't blur that shit out, by the way, for those that wondering where the videos on YouTube. I do not blur anything out because I don't make money off YouTube. I don't plan on it. I just upload it for the laughters and the fun. And I stream it with the penises regardless. Like if I get banned on Twitch, then there's always gay. But yeah, it's fun regardless. I have to mention this. I don't know if Rick was drinking the last time we played it, but the first time
he was.
Was
oh
he?
my God,
Was
he was.
Okay, so the first time
Remember, he was getting on to us for allegedly deleting an episode, which completely made up and fabricated.
That's
like,
come on, Rick, come on. We
where
never
did that even
deleted.
come
What are you
from?
talking about, dude? But I love when Rick gets drunk and just goes off on like Steve or someone else. It's so funny. It's so good, and it's great. If you don't have to get drunk, but if you have a little bit of whiskey in you or a little bit of alcohol, whatever your drink of choice is, it's even more funny because like with me, like I'll get so drunk, I'll be sitting there trying to type, and we're like, "Oh, this is Clash fan because you can't type." It's like, bro, I'm also drinking. Like, you can't. Don't say that shit. But it's funny because regardless of how misspelled or any subject, a lot of us at the end when the animation happens, it still connects from the top one, regardless of the drawing. Everyone understands what happened, so it's a lot of fucking fun, and I highly recommend anyone who has friends on Discord, whatever. Let's go. We need to do
So,
that.
so Nob was mentioning some of the common things that are done to convey who is who in the stick figures. And yes, anytime there's a blue hat with an S on it, that's Carl because he got a Seattle hat on. Anytime there's someone with like a bunch of red squiggly or a hat with a B, that's me, right? Every time I draw Adams, I do just a little bit of mustache
Just a little
on the
bit.
face,
Shaved.
you know. Every time we draw Steve, he's either got an LSU or sometimes I do a T-shirt that just says "Go Tigers" on it. And then of course, every time we do Rick, it's got Reddit or
Yeah.
Reddit mod, or I like to do like Reddit rules.
Yeah.
So and he didn't mention it, but every time I've drawn Knob as a stick figure in the game, Hayes always got a cigarette hanging out of his mouth because that's how I like to envision my Knob. So that's
And
you know just
if people are down,
dead giveaway.
we need to play it more. We need to schedule a time to play it more because it's so much fun with the homies.
We just need to
Just
have a standard like recurring time that we do
yeah,
it.
we do. We do. It's so much fun. Again, I hope it continues. I do need to edit the last episode, which I'll do. I'll probably edit the pod. After I edit the pod, then I'll do that and upload it simultaneously because they're different YouTube channels. And with the audio on the podcast, it's easy. Just it's fast as shit. I usually edit the podcast, turn it into an MP3, upload the audio because some people would rather listen to the audio version. Then I upload the video like after I'm done streaming. But I'll promise to do it. I got you guys. I got you. All right. You ready to go to topic 2 for non clash related?
Yeah, man. This is all you.
This is all me. Again, I'm not the best at making topics, okay, but we're gonna talk a little bit. I know Big B was in the live
I
Discord
had to be. I
thing.
had to be.
So we're gonna talk about Steve and Rick on the C2J Crystal to Join podcast. Me and Big B and a few others were in there watching it. They don't stream it, but on Discord you can sit there and listen live and
We talked about it a little bit
yeah,
last episode, and then we started to shy away because we were giving away stuff that people who weren't there didn't know was going to happen yet.
facts.
So we didn't want to spoil too much. But now it's out,
Yeah.
and it's
And
gone through several different edits, and
yeah.
now it's out there for the people. So now we've got to talk about our reactions to it.
I would have loved to live stream that. Just for me and you being on our phones with the big app. If you guys don't know what the big app is, you can type and just show what your messages is. But we were trolling them all the time. They were talking about, oh, Big B and CF9. I don't know what they're talking about. It was hilarious. Like me and him trolling. I mean, he was better than me. I was just saying stupid shit, but he was better than me, obviously, because Big B's OP. But uh, I do love the shade out and shout outs I got. It was awesome. It was great. But, Steve sucks at podcasts, by the way. He's sitting there going, just making shit off the top of his head. No, not even good shit. Just I don't think he prepared at all. What's your thoughts, Big B?
I think that's part of why he is such a requested guest on that
Yeah.
podcast because I'm not just saying this as far as like putting together what it should sound like, getting it through the
Yeah.
paces. Like Carl does a really good job of that, and Steve ruins that at every step of the recording. but and I honestly I think it's a bit for him, and when you can think about it like that, it's actually pretty funny.
Yeah.
But listen, we requested that, right? Like that was the most requested duo was to have Rick and Steve on at the same time. So we can't get mad that we got what we asked for.
I don't think they were the most requested. I think me and you were the most requested. They were the second.
All right, but well, we didn't request ourselves.
No,
So
but I think
well, we're a natural draw because we already host a podcast together,
Yeah,
right? Rick and Steve is
but
just
again
it's like it's Republicans versus Democrats, right? It's it's the Civil War all over again.
yeah, I think our pod was a little better just because, again, thank you, Carl, for letting me live stream it because it was sick. If you ever want me to live stream your podcast again, I'm down.
Ours flowed like a podcast because we are
Wow, yeah.
podcasters and we know what we're doing. And theirs flowed like they got one guy who kind of knows how this goes and one guy who's doing his best to try to make things awkward and choppy as possible.
Right.
And quite frankly, well played, Steve. It worked.
So,
But I got to say this too, right? So you mentioned we were doing because for this because we were so amped up to hear what they were going to say.
yeah,
Carl allowed us to stay with our cams on while we were just listening, right? So we can't jump in and say anything, but we can see each other and they can see us, right? And it wasn't lost on me that we had been doing that for about a good hour, right? And someone referenced what we were doing, and right on cue to form, both Rick and Steve were like, I can't see Big B's at all, which is a bit that they've done to me for,
thanks.
since I joined C2J of, is he on? We can't hear him, right?
Right.
And listen,
So
I really appreciated that they stayed true to character, even in the middle of all of that plan back and forth during their show. When I even got brought up, they're like, who? Where's he at? I can't see him. Is he even on here? Good stuff. And usually Rick saying it's not a bit.
it's a bit.
It's a
You guys
bit.
done that so many times. Like even with me, you're like, "Oh, we can't hear you, CF9." I'm like, bullshit. You can hear me. Everything's
Yeah,
working. Go fuck yourself.
I know.
It's funny with Kangaroo, by the way. like like Steve got him so hard. He's like, there was one time he was like, "Oh, I can't figure this out," and Steve goes, "Alt F4," right? And if for those that aren't computer know-howy, Alt F4 like shuts down your computer basically, ends all programs and everything. And every time, like he'll just randomly drop into the when we're all in general chat, just chatting, which is rare now. It used to be a lot. And then we keep giving him shit. He's like, "You just gonna keep talking about that?" I was like, "Yeah, because it's fucking funny. You fell for the Alt F4. How do you not know what that means? Like, come on." But it's a good bit, but it's getting old. Okay. Oh, we can't hear you. It's like, I know you can hear me. Like, I'm not gonna fall for that shit. I'm not gonna leave and come back. Okay.
Adam, you're just encouraging them to do it more, right?
I know. But Rick, you did a good job. Steve, you sucked on the podcast. Your zombie apocalypse weapons were trash.
Steve did exactly what he set out to do. Okay, he trolled Carl plenty, especially when he's like, look, what's the question again? Like he's having him re-ask the question. Like
I think
he did exactly what he meant to do, and they did really good. I got to tell, so the moment when they were talking about if you could change the banner in the server to anything, what would it be? Rick posted your bush shot. he posted it. It got deleted quickly, but when I saw it, I had to turn around and like take a break after that because I was laughing so hard. That was a good one. And listen, the best part about it is there are segments of that no one will ever get to hear again. You just had to
exactly.
be there live, but that's why it was so like you can't miss that stuff. And I'll just say this too, because I know we've got people here listening live, but the majority of our listeners actually listen to the recording.
Yeah.
I will say this: so listen to the podcast however you can, support them however you can, not just us, but everyone else that does them. Like we want as much support and attention for everyone out there.
Yeah.
But
Exactly.
a shameless plug,
Oh, let's
if
go.
you have the time, is that there is no exchange for the live recording of any of them
Exactly.
because there's stuff that doesn't make it to the cutting room floor, and there's
Unless you're
things
CF9.
there's things that don't make it on all the time, and sometimes it's the funniest stuff. Like if I didn't
Well,
tell that story, no one would know that Rick posted the picture of your bush
can
in the
can I
in the chat for the
can
podcast.
I put some backstory to that?
Yeah, go ahead.
So I was in a general chat with Rick, Magic Knob, and Liam, and they're all talking shit. There was back when some episode they were talking about the Clashuals episode that got deleted. Blah blah blah. I was like, yeah, something came up about I was shaving my like when I shaved my mustache, I had a Manscaped 3.0. They're like, oh, you trimmed your bush with that. I was like, no, I fucking cleaned it. Okay, I did trim it, but I cleaned it. And they're like, let's see it. So I showed it, and then when Carl told me I was like, "It's either Knob took a screenshot or it was Rick." And he's like, "Maybe Rick did it." I was like, "I fucking knew it." And let's fucking send it around. I don't give a shit. People can see my fucking trim pubes. Let's go. The fuck? You don't know who I am right now?
I honestly didn't know that picture existed. So when Rick posted it, and at first I was like, "Who is that?" But then it was clearly like your
You
background. I
can
was like,
see, yeah.
God damn
See,
it."
so Carl got me. He's like, "Oh, there's a picture of Steve half naked." I was like, "Oh, DM me that." Just 'cause and then it was me. I was like, "That's fucking me, you dick. It's either Knob or Rick." And he's like, "Maybe Rick hinted." I was like, "Okay." Duck says Gartic phone tonight. Maybe. Probably not.
Maybe. All
Yeah,
right.
because everyone else. All right. You ready to go to topic 3 or
Should I give this one a nice, cool, sexy intro as
yeah,
well?
let's go. Let's go.
And now for our top 5 favorite things. And tonight's topic is the top 5 favorite things about fall. About
Let's go.
finally
That was
being
good.
done with fucking summer.
I like your you wanna go first or you want me to go first? I can go first.
You like my official voice?
I like your video voice. It's like, "Welcome to 98" whatever the fuck radio is in. I don't listen to radio. Alright,
Hello and welcome to Movie Phone.
there we go. You
You
want me to
you
go
might
first?
be too young to remember that, Adams.
Movie phone? It sounds familiar, but probably. I'll go first. My number 5, we're gonna start with 5, right?
Yeah.
Right. My number 5. So in fall, I live in Arizona. People bitch when it gets cold. Again, cold in Arizona is like 70, okay? It's stupid as shit. So people bitch about how hot it is, and then when it gets 70, they're like, "Oh, it's too cold. Oh my god." I literally just wanna tell them, "Why the fuck you here then? Move. Where's colder? Fuck off. It's not cold. Y'all bitches. It's not cold when it's 70." And that in the morning, yes, it gets colder. Obviously, we're in the desert, so it cools down and maybe get to 40 in the morning, but like, come on. Fuck off. Get a fucking hoodie or some good pants. Right? You're gonna bitch about the cold, go fuck yourself. But I love it just because I love when people are miserable. You're in Arizona when it's cold, get the fuck out. That's my number 5. What's your number 5, Big B?
Here are 5 things I love about fall.
Oh,
And I've talked about this before, so this shouldn't be a surprise to anyone. That cool air hits, right? Or at least the thought of it.
uh-huh.
I know it's time for fall when all of the pumpkin flavored everything comes out.
Facts.
And
Right?
I am so basic when it comes to flavor palettes and things I
Uh,
like.
uh,
Pumpkin, anything and everything. One of my number 5 favorite thing about fall is just pumpkin flavored or scented everything. We
okay.
have like scented candles in the house. They're like all fall themed. Most of them though pumpkin flavored. I've Listen, since they introduced it at Starbucks. I've had like 6 of these pumpkin cream chai tea lattes. It's
Mhm.
ridiculous, and I don't feel manly at all drinking them, but I can't stop. I can't stop. I'll tell you that much.
Okay, send it, man.
Pumpkin flavored everything. It's one of my favorite flavors. I wish it was a year round thing. Maybe I wouldn't go so crazy for it in the fall, but when pumpkin spice comes out, that's me, baby. That's all me.
Okay. Number
Number 4,
4.
Adams.
Uh, it rains a little bit more in Arizona. I love it. You know, we got monsoon season when it comes to fall. It rains tad bit more. We've had a decent that one night when my power went out, we had a big massive rainstorm. Power went out. I streamed from my phone for a little bit, and I had someone in my live stream like, "Oh, you're a Clash of Clans streamer. Why are you streaming from my phone?" It's like, dude, the power made my phone go out. That was during. I think that was the day before I did the 12. Tried to do the 12-hour stream for Pilot 51. My power was out till 3 something in the morning, and I was still up. You know, it's hot, sitting in my bed with my basically naked, just sitting there with my fan on, not a fan on, just sitting there in the heat, worried about my dog. A few times I went to my car, turned the air conditioner on, watched a movie. I have a video on my phone. I was up till like 3:30 in the morning, no sleep, and then the power went on. at like 3:30-ish, turned my light off, AC kicked on, turned my fan on, and I passed out for about 4 hours. So, regardless, I love the rain in Arizona, that smell, the cold air. It gets a little humid, but not too bad, but, I loved it. That's my number 4.
You guys do get rain in Arizona.
Oh, yeah, during monsoon, we do, yeah. What's your number 4, Big B?
Number 4 is something that I've only come to appreciate in my adult life.
Oh,
When I
okay.
was younger, I used to think that scary movies were stupid and pointless. All things that were of the horror variety, scary things, skeletons, witches, ghouls, goblins, things like that. And as I got older, I've become more and more into it. Like I think it's cool. And one of the things, the number 4 thing that I love about fall is just when spooky things start coming out, scary movies start coming on. You know, those horror type movies, and basically anything Halloween themed. You know, we did like Halloween themed decorations in the house this year, which again, I like. Okay, I just got to admit this to myself that some of my favorite things to do are not like the most manly things to do, like decorating your house in like Halloween or fall themed. But I've gotten to the point in my life now where I enjoy those types of things. So here we
Okay.
are. Here we've just this is where we've arrived. So yeah, number 4 is Halloween type activities and things, and everything scary and spooky.
Got it,
Ooh.
okay. Alright, my number 3. Ooh, my number 3. For those that live in Arizona, you know what this is. It's the fucking snowbirds. So if you don't know who snowbirds are, it's the old people that live in, like, the northern states. As soon as the weather gets colder there, they come to Arizona or, like, hotter or not really I'd say warmer states. We call them snowbirds in Arizona. It's the old people that come down, drive like shit, always impede traffic, never drive the speed limit, and it pisses everyone off. They will every you gotta learn how to shop when they come in. Are ridiculous. They need to fucking figure it out. Fuck off. Get the fuck out of Arizona. Go somewhere else. Fuck the snowbirds. They're old people, can barely drive the speed limit. I gotta get my groceries at 35 miles an hour when the speed limit here is 45. Get used to it. If you can't drive, fucking have your fucking food delivered to you. That's all I'm saying. Get the fuck off the road. You can come here, but get the fuck off the road. Sell your car. No need for it. Fuck off.
Levi, we're doing things you like about fall,
I
right?
know. Well, I had to include the snowbird for the Arizona people. I don't like the snowbird, so I had to introduce
Are you
one
doing top
thing.
5 things you hate about fall?
Well, no, there's a mixture. That was one hate, but snowbirds can eat a
The
dick.
top 5 things
We
just
like and
in
hate.
general about fall.
Why? What's your number 3, Big B? Let's go. By the way, I got
number
rated.
number 3 thing that I love about fall is finally getting some cool air, especially in Texas. It's
Ooh, let's
hot as
go.
hell. The cool air, finally getting to wear long sleeve shirts. Like I have a lot of long sleeve shirts that I really enjoy. Like they're comfy, and there's only like 3, maybe 4 months a year I can wear them. But you know, when fall starts rolling, that's when I start to get into them. Some hoodies, stuff like that. Like comfortable clothing. Like that's my jam. Like cold outside, I can wear just some lounge clothing, stuff like that. The cool air comes in. That's one of my favorite things about fall. It's that cool, crisp air, especially early in the morning.
Oh
And you
yeah,
can
yeah.
afford to wear some long sleeves and not sweat your balls off.
Facts. Right. My number 2, it kind of goes back to rain, but I love that cold night. Like when it hits like 8 or 9 at night during fall. Ooh, it gets so cool. I can't open my window because I have stuff. I have like something like a sunshade you'd put in your car summertime if you live in Arizona just to make it cooler. Have that blocking my window, but I would love to open my window up and just have that cool air come in. Ooh, I would put a fan maybe in that just to draw that cool air in.
You have
Ooh.
one of the accordion car
No,
things in your room?
it's like a square cutout that go like I have to put like thumbtacks in it to block the sun out because like my during the summer my room gets a lot of like sun action, so it gets really hot in my room, so it just blocks most of that. But if I could, I'd take that down during the winter. I'm still gonna keep it up because I'm lazy. But I'd love to have that cool air, like, right when it's, like, 9 or 10, just ooh, get my nips hard. I love it, and, I love the cool weather. I've lived in Washington since forever, but I love cold air, but, here in Arizona, we don't get that much, so, that's why I love fall. So,
You got to get you some of those blackout curtains.
I have a few of those, but the things that's on my room, like, I don't disconnect them, so I will put the blackout curtains back. There's just, like, a little slight, like, laser basically, like, goes around my bed, not around my bed, but against the wall. When I wake up, I see that, and I just roll over and put the blanket over my eye and pass
Keep
the
the
fuck out.
blackout curtains even when it's cold outside. Then it's really cold in your bedroom.
Oh, I plan on it. I plan on it. That's my number 2, by the way. What's
All right,
your number
my
2?
my number two favorite thing about fall. This uh the Clash of Clans World Finals. No, for the last couple of years, I say there's. I don't want to give away what my number one is, but number one is what takes most of my attention. The reason the Clash World Finals is number two is because it's one of the few things that when it's going on during the fall every year at some
Uh-huh.
point in time, it's one of the things that takes my attention away from some of the other things I like to do, and I don't find that I miss them.
Okay.
I really enjoy when it gets down to those final couple of teams. We talked earlier about the live
Yeah.
event. I really enjoy seeing those guys live, but I also like seeing some of the journey to get there as well. The next couple of weekends when they've got the next couple of stages coming up in World Qualifier, I'm going to sit up in the morning and watch those every time I get a chance. So that last couple of years have been really good. I thought the way that they wrapped it up last year, even though it was kind of early, was the best run through all the way when they went from the 10th anniversary all the way through Clash Fest and all the way through the World Finals. That was it was nonstop action those couple of months. A lot of that was wrapped around the qualifiers and the eventual World Tournament. But them doing that and wrapping that up every year, really for the last 4 years, has been something that I've carved
Yeah.
out time to be a part of and watch, and I'm really excited for it again this year. Even as we've talked a lot of junk about professional players in general, the actual event of getting to the World Finals and seeing someone hoist that trophy and win that big prize pool, that's pretty cool. And
Mhm.
I'm also a really big fan of just the production that they put into that. Even though I've got to say this, I'm happy with most of the casters they're going to have this year.
Oh, okay.
I
Most.
would. The one I'm worried about, and I know he gets this feedback every year, if
Woody?
Woody can just
Knew
yell
it.
a little less or
Yeah.
not at all. I honestly don't think he's a bad caster. Like people give him flack, like, "Oh, he didn't really know the game," but he like the play-by-play stuff. He's good, and he's got a good like casting voice.
Uh-huh.
But the yelling is, I don't know why, but when I'm watching, he starts yelling like I can feel myself cringe. Like I'm not just saying it. Like I'm like, ugh. There have been times where I've like muted parts just because I don't know. It's just something about like his yelling just doesn't. I can't listen to it. So,
Yeah.
Woody, if you listen to this, you probably don't. But if you do, you be okay, bud. Just be cool, man. Just be cool. Don't yell. Don't scream. Just be cool. Other than that, the World's Finals, that's my second favorite thing about the fall.
Okay. Alright, so my one kinda interacts.
Numero uno.
Yeah. My one kinda interacts with your 4th. I love horror movies. So when it
Oh,
comes to
yeah?
fall, a lot of horror movies come out. I've watched so many. I can't name them off. I've watched so many fucking movies in my 29 years of life, but, I love horror movies to my deep core. Even the corny ones just to make fun of them. Like, I'll get drunk and just me and Monroe on Saturday nights, usually we hang out Saturdays and just watch stupid, corny horror movies, and it's funny as fuck, but, even true horror movies like Friday the 13th, Scream, those are just 2 I'm gonna name, but I love horror movies, and, I heard they're remaking The Toxic Avenger. Hopefully, they don't make 6 of them, but, I love horror movies regardless, even if they're like cheap budget bullshit. But that's why I love fall. So horror movies is my number one. What about you, Big B? What's your number uno, whatever the fuck you said?
Number one for me wants to be the return of football season. Just in general, I'm in a better mood when there's football on the weekends or on some of the weekday nights. But my absolute favorite time in the fall is Saturday mornings because two things. One, it's right on the cusp of when like the college games are going to start, right? That's one of the big football weekends. But in Texas, Friday night is high school football. And I go out and watch games. I gotta go. I'll watch my alma mater play, even though I don't live real close to there. But there have been times I've gone and just watched other good matchups on Friday nights here and there. So catching a game, and if I don't, I'm almost always like checking the scores, especially for the local teams that I follow. And Saturday morning is when you get like the information download dump of how everyone in the state of Texas did the night before. So getting up early on a Saturday in the fall, go get some kolaches and some coffee or something like that. Start watching College Game Day. Get ready for your big day of football and start seeing who all played and who won from the night before. That's my favorite time of any season,
Okay.
anywhere in the year. It's Saturday mornings in the fall, getting ready for the big day. And this year, the actual games have been really enjoyable too. I've been a fan of some teams that haven't always had the most illustrious history, especially in like the last 10 years. But this year, all the teams I root for are doing good. So far,
Awesome.
it's still early. Like we're like 3 weeks in the college season and 2 weeks in the pro, but so far so good. So that's been fun as well. And even when they're not that great, I still just enjoy football season. But I never realized how much I enjoy the fall and football season until February rolls around. I don't have it anymore. And there
Yeah.
are weekends. There's times like it's every year, February, March, where I'm like,
Well, I got a solution to that.
I'm missing something.
I got a
Something
solution to
big.
that, Bubba. Get into hockey.
Don't you dare say hockey.
Yeah.
Can't.
That's why I can't watch football for the life of me
I
because
can't.
it's boring as shit. Hockey has 82 games
I can't do
a
hockey.
season, not playoffs. Okay, you have what, 15 something for football? We go from October all the way past whatever the fuck you said into playoffs. Just saying.
Can't do it.
Anyway, I understand you can't do it, but football sucks to me. I love hockey, but yeah. For those who are watching, I can't watch football. Last football,
Just because
uh
it's not your favorite sport doesn't
yeah,
mean it sucks. Like I'm not gonna say hockey sucks just because I
I'm not
don't
saying
like
it
it.
sucks. I just don't
You
like
did. That's literally what
Okay,
you
okay.
said.
Well, it
It's
sucks.
almost word for word what you said. Football sucks, but I'm not saying it sucks. You
Yeah,
exactly said
it
it
sucks to
sucks.
me. How about that? I can't watch it. It's boring as fuck. You can't fight. You can't do anything. I don't understand it. Fuck it. I'd rather watch hockey where you can fight.
You come watch a high school game in Texas with me one time.
Hence
You'll
why
like
those are
it.
big.
You'll like it.
I might like college, but not NFL.
College is great. College is so much better, especially live. It is so much better than anything else.
Yeah, I can't watch the NFL because it's boring as fuck. But anyway, shall we end the podcast there?
Well, I've
We've been
got
live for an
one
hour.
last
Oh,
final announcement.
okay.
I just got to let everyone know that unfortunately CF9 is about to get banned in the CGJ server for 2 at everyone ats tonight.
Yeah.
You know it's bannable offense, right?
Well, then fuck it. Carl can ban me.
You're about to get your
Then he can.
ooh.
Here's the thing. Carl won't ban me from that server because he loves me.
You're gonna
He can
diminish
tell
that
me not.
love. You keep adding everyone, dude.
I only did it twice. If Carl
You
can
did it
message
twice
me,
in 20 minutes.
yeah, I did. If Carl wants to tell me not to do it, then hey, don't make a casual fucking thing.
All right,
Okay?
we'll check your DMs. He's already told you not to do it.
I guarantee you he has not, because Carl loves me. He'll probably be like, hey, don't do that again. I won't do it again. But
Don't do it again.
what if I do
Don't
it
do
right
it.
now?
Don't stoop to that level. People like Rick add everyone, okay? You don't want to be like that guy.
Yeah, everyone. Apparently, to Rick. Anyway, I'm not getting into too much. We've been live for almost an
Listen,
hour.
just stick to
just
getting
about.
general chat nuked like I do, okay? That's frowned upon, but it's
Well,
gonna be tough to get you kicked out of the server for that.
well,
Adding
wait.
everyone, like it's very easy to track,
Well,
okay? Just
hold on. The first time I got it nuked, okay, is I was talking shit to Duck, and then it went to Nice General. But me and Duck are homies now.
and see, we all
I'm pouring
survived
my
that one.
11 drink, by the way. So,
We all survived that one. But if you look on the list of people who got like frozen out from the server, it was for add everyone.
well, I did it twice. If Carl don't like it, he can ban me.
Don't
But he won't.
add everyone.
Okay, fuck it. I'm sorry. Shit. All right, you
Good,
ready in this
good. A
pod?
nice public apology, like you were
I'm
supposed to.
sorry. I'm sorry for atting everyone in the C2J Discord. I'll do it in mine. You happy?
Have you drank enough for your emotional ending tonight? Remember
No.
you were gonna say something. You want to do it now?
Oh, you want me to apologize? I guess we could.
Well, you're
You
gonna
know,
apologize for what I just told you.
no. It's to I want to apologize to Bagstag and Zero. If I hurt you guys' feelings, I apologize. I get whatever I said on the C2J podcast, I apologize. I drink a lot. I let my emotions through. If that hurts your feelings, DM me. I know Zero doesn't give a fuck, but Bagstag, I apologize. You've been a big supporter of mine, and hope you come back to the live stream. If you don't, it's okay. I understand, but hope you understand. This is, that's the best I have. Off.
That's good, Adams.
Can I end the podcast now, or do you just want to keep going with random shit?
Well, I mean, I think let's go ahead and get the
We
rest of
good?
your apologies out. It's a very long list.
That's about it right now.
Oh, okay. All right.
All right. Thank you all for watching the Clashuals podcast live or listen to it wherever you find your podcast. Again, we have the Pod Wars coming up October 14th. If you want to watch it live, come to ClashFan9 and Big B underscore or Big underscore B.70 on Twitch. We're gonna try to do the guest star. He has it on his thing. And we're gonna do the guest star thing. We're gonna have a lot of people, hopefully, and it's gonna be fucking awesome. I'm excited for it. And I don't care if it's afternoon for me, I'm still gonna get a little buzzed.
October 14th, baby.
Let's go. All right, thank you all for watching, and love y'all. Bye.
Deuces.